if you're on a college campus right now, the very young people that we at Turning Point USA are winning over, large in part thanks to President Trump, you suffered under the lies and the deception of COVID, of wearing a mask while you shower, of the 9th booster shot, of the hyper-policing of every pronoun and every syllable that you say. And they want something greater than that, not something darker and something that is rooted in a cynical worldview.
Anyway, the machine does not know exactly what to do with Hogg because he sort of represents the crazy young energy that's scattered and just like lighting embers all over the place that the Democrats are into. But they also know he's deeply dangerous. Anyway, he went on Bill Maher and he got the coveted one-on-one interview. You know, when I went on, they usually put you on the panel, but he got the one-on-one with Bill, and he talked about how to bring young voters in and his little fight with James Carville.
But whenever I see someone your age talking politics, it's usually a Republican guy. I mean, that seems to be where all the energy and we know that the Democrats do have a problem with men.
Yes.
What are you going to do about that?
Well, I think, one, it's for us to acknowledge the fact that a lot of younger men, I think, agree with what Democrats are saying in terms of making sure that we're getting things cheaper. What's interesting about this moment is it feels like the two parties in some senses have flipped where, you know, Republicans used to be the judgmental in many ways. And since many Democrats, despite us, I would say for most of us coming from the right place of wanting to do the right thing, we've created a culture where we say, well, if you say the wrong thing, you're excommunicated. And that's just not how human beings work. Nobody is perfect, but ultimately what we have to do here is figure out how to bring people back in and work towards the bigger goal of advancing the future of this country and helping young people especially get by so that they're able to focus on their lives and, you know, getting with a young woman or something like that instead of how are they going to pay their rent, for example, or how are they working their 2 jobs. Young people should be able to focus on what young people should be focused on, which is how to get laid and how to go and have fun.
Now, interestingly, he does say, and it got a laugh, and there's something to it, that at the end of the day, young people, you want just like a flourishing thing. You don't have to worry about your 2 jobs so you could go get laid. Now, I say on the show all the time, don't people get laid anymore? Like when you see all these genderqueer weirdos with pink hair, obese losers, Hamas morons, and the rest of it, it's like if you guys were getting laid, I do think you'd be a little bit happier. And basically, if you were getting laid, like if you were just basically getting laid consistently, and then your friend called you, your fat, obese, pink-haired friend who's got really bad acne and horrible teeth and bad breath, and they called you and they were like, you want to go to a Hamas rally? We're going to scare some Jews. You might be like, you know, I just got laid and I think it might happen later. So I'm not going with you. That's true. But, and here comes the but. Getting laid is not everything in life. You also want to build a life that is sustainable and nourishing and that you can pass on some of the good stuff to the future. So just saying to people you should get laid is not good enough. Me saying occasionally you should get laid might just sort of help you think. Anyone that's ever had sex, you have sex and then afterwards you're like, I could deal with the world right now. Here's Charlie Kirk on something that's more important than just getting laid.
How nihilistic and also how dismissive of all the concerns that young people are feeling right now. The Democrats the last couple of years, and Hogg is half right about this, they have lost young people, especially young men. When I go to these college campuses, though, they don't just want to have more degeneracy or debauchery. They're looking for something greater, something higher. They're in the pursuit of something good and true and beautiful. Remember, if you're on a college campus right now, the very young people that we at Turning Point USA are winning over, large in part thanks to President Trump, you suffered under the lies and the deception of COVID, of wearing a mask while you shower, of the 9th booster shot, of the hyper-policing of every pronoun and every syllable that you say. And they want something greater than that, not something darker and something that is rooted in a cynical worldview. And David Hogg is so dismissive of young people that want to have a mission, that want to have meaning, that don't just want to pursue what makes them feel good, but instead young people increasingly want to do good.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, to young people, should you probably get laid more? And when I say get laid, it's also just like go out and enjoy your life. Yes, of course, as opposed to just being miserable and sitting behind a computer and attacking people and using the cloak of anonymity to destroy the world and being an endless narcissist and navel gazing and trolling and all of those things. Like, so I don't mean purely just like in the most literal sense, go out and get laid. Like, go out and enjoy your life. But that's not all of it. Charlie hits the other thing. That these kids and I used to go to these colleges with Charlie years ago and do this, that it's often young men that are basically just like, what the hell is going on here? Everything in the culture is telling me I'm bad because I'm white and I'm a male, and I'm a misogynist, and I'm all of these things, and the country's bad and everything else. And what they're realizing now, the newer generation that's coming in, is that it's not just about that nihilistic view of the world. It's not just about endlessly feeding your pleasure. It's about something greater. And if we can really start scaling that, then maybe this generation that's in college now, and a lot of them aren't in college, and that's good, but maybe this younger generation that, let's say, is between 15 and 22 right now, that everyone endlessly mocks and everything else, even though we're the ones that handed them the phone and said, good luck with all of that, maybe they'll be the ones that save this whole thing from going off into the abyss. Like, maybe that is possible. Now, what's also interesting is that on the left, as they are in this meltdown phase where they don't know, do we just go with the kind of David Hogg crazies? Do we hang on to the James Carville old people? Is anyone listening to our real old timers like Bill and Hillary or Chuck Schumer or anything else? Do we go with the radicals of AOC and Ilhan and the jihadists? Like, they're all over the place. But what that leads to is some people who get everything wrong realizing that they have a real problem on their hands. Like that, I think most people agree with.